Sublime magnificence. Hey guys, you know who it is, what's going on, when it's happening, where it's at, and why we're here today. How you doing? It is I, the sublimely magnificent big ugly himself, Omari Ellis Feo Grande on YouTube, back with another episode of This Guy Hasn't Seen. And as usual, I am joined by my co-host, one of my best friends in the world, El Director himself, Chill Bill Smith.
No, Omari, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing fine.
I'm doing good too, my friend. I brought you one of our classics this week.
Yeah.
We got a Stone Cold classic, Omari. Did you know that there was a time in American cinema where there were basically three films? You got your romance film.
Okay.
You had your crime film, and then you had your Western film.
Yes. Okay. When you put it that way, definitely yes.
We got one of those films for you today.
That's right. This week, since we do a thing where we trade movies back and forth, Bill has suggested to me the classic, as he said, Once Upon a Time in the West.
Once Upon a Time in the West from 1968, rated PG-13. A mysterious stranger with a harmonica joins forces with a notorious desperado to protect a beautiful widow from a ruthless assassin working for the railroad. It is written and directed by...
A fucking roller coaster of a description.
I kind of ended up doing it that way. It's not so much the sentence's fault.
Yeah, anyway.
A mysterious stranger with a harmonica joins forces with a notorious desperado to protect a beautiful widow from a ruthless assassin working for the railroad. No, it is the sentence's fault. It is written and directed by Sergio Leone, and it stars Henry Fonda, Charles Bronson, and Claudia Cardinal. Omari, this is one of the greatest Westerns of all time. This is a humongous classic. Why have you not seen it? Why haven't you seen it?
All right, so I hadn't seen it. You are right. Once Upon a Time in the West, Madman lost his damn mind in the West. Primarily because though I had heard that name, because like you said, it is a name that is known in the zeitgeist. You know, everybody is aware of Once Upon a Time in the West. It's a classic household name. I would hear that word, be like, okay, Western movie, but I always associated the line every time I hear it is from the song I just referenced earlier, freaking Wild Wild West, Will Smith. So part of it is because name association of that almost every time just goes right into that song. The other part being, I love aspects of Westerns. I do. Cowboys are cool, shooting people, bandits, sheriff in town, all that shit. Aesthetic. I love so many parts of Western, but the sum of the parts, not so much. Nothing against the genre. I can't tell you why, but there aren't a lot of Western films that I either was hyped to watch or have seen throughout my life. It was just that one of those genres, and it might have also been a little bit of a cultural divide type deal with that when it came to the youth years. You know, one big symbol of the Western genre, you know, we quoted a song, or we had a movie involving a song that, you know, said how they felt about said Western icon, John Wayne. You know, fuck him, just like, Elvis and stuff, because straight
Yeah.
up racist, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So my head just growing up associated Westerns with cool stuff that I just didn't want to watch. I don't know, something about it. I just thought it was whatever Westerns I saw as a kid outside of the standout moments were just kind of boring for me.
Yep. Yeah, and we are going to go ahead and state as a united force, this guy hasn't seen, will state that yes, fuck John Wayne.
Yeah.
He can go fuck himself. Well, he's dead, so I'm happy he's dead. Go fuck yourself. Your movies were terrible. You're a racist piece of shit.
There we go.
Was held back by several men so he wouldn't beat a Native American woman. Go fuck yourself, John Wayne. And your movies are terrible. These are not John Wayne movies. The Sergio Leone movies are a different thing. The John Wayne movies are, in my opinion, nowhere close to it. Remove John Wayne from the equation that I just told you, and my opinion on him personally. My mother loved John Wayne movies. I've seen so many of them. I don't like any of them. I don't think they're any good. It's when people talk about Westerns, they should be thinking about Sergio Leone and Clint Eastwood to an extent. We almost did The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And I decided on this one because it doesn't have Clint Eastwood, and Clint Eastwood is such a strong presence that the movie is about him. And I just thought this would be a better idea to just be about the movie, about Sergio Leone, and the idea of Westerns. So that was going to be my second part that I kind of stopped myself on, but you ended up answering it, which was kind of your connection to the Western itself. Mm-hmm. Is there any modern ones that you've? I mean, we don't make a lot of them anymore.
The Harder They Fall. I saw that at work once. Probably shouldn't have seen it at work once, but I saw it at work once. That was pretty good. That's the most recent Western I saw. Also, as a kid, I saw Wild Wild West, but how much of a Western is that?
Yeah, we'll call that one.
But
yeah, you've got a few good ones out there. There's the remake of True Grit. There's what was it, Bone Tomahawk?
Westerns are
310 to Yuma. All modern films that are pretty solid.
Yeah, Western films are a lot like country music for me, where I will like specific examples from it. Not really big on the genre. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I think that's the best way to say it. It's like, oh, it's a movie, it's a Western. I may check it out.
Well, that'll lead us right into what you were expecting.
I was expecting a lot of what I got. I will say, like your shootouts, your draws, that stuff, trains, I was expecting a bit more, and it's so weird because I'm not this kind of guy that goes looking for these things. But we mentioned the man twice and the things associated with him. I was expecting, especially because it was a timepiece, a lot of racial stereotypes and shit involved as well. Maybe even some racist activity. You changed.
You're lucky, Omari. That doesn't happen. They're just not really present.
Yeah, that doesn't happen, but they do. They're still a very similar but also troubling word that gets a lot of moments in the movie.
Yes, Not only are they depicting depicting a different time as far as a Western goes, but just even in filmmaking, it was a different,
very much so,
different time.
Yes, but more or less, I expected what I got. Actually, I don't think there was a fucking sheriff once. So yeah, maybe expected some shit with a sheriff. I was expecting about the most stereotypically Western thing because it's called Once Upon a Time in the West, and I figure if it's this classic of a movie with the reputation it has, it probably was like a prototypical. Everyone's just gonna copy this for the genre deal. So if anything, the most stereotypical, you know, guy comes running into town to challenge the sheriff type shit, whatever, that you would come up with a Western. Get the tumbleweeds. You know.
Did we have any tumbleweeds?
I don't think we had any tumbleweeds.
I don't think we had a tumbleweed.
Yeah, no, it was refreshing in the sense that it didn't go 100% of what people consider. I fucking wrote it. I expected tropical activities is what I typed. I expected it to just be a walking trope, a bag of tropes, and it wasn't necessarily that. There were some tropes, but it wasn't what I thought it was to that extent.
Yeah.
So yeah, and getting right into it, but the opening, it was silent. You just had the sound effects and stuff. And by silent, I mean no music, just kind of whatever. And early on, I was like, oh, that's a nice little touch. Helps add some atmosphere. And like, then again, it's an old movie, so there's probably not a lot of music anyway. That's probably part of the aesthetic. Got the people coming in the bar. I'm like, well, this is ominous. Somebody's about to get shot. Something's happening. Like these guys are about to rob the place or something. And they're sitting there, and they're waiting on a train. And there's this creaky ass windmill. That's just. There's still the first like 20 minutes of this movie. There's no like music, damn near, and just. The first 5 of it is them waiting for this train, and
with almost no dialogue.
No dialogue, really. Just the fucking windmill, and I was just like, "What the fuck is going on here?" Now, one of the dudes in the thing, he had a fly land on his face, and there was a whole bit with him trying to get the fly off his face without using his hands or something for a while. He's like trying to blow on it and stuff like that, and the fly is sticking there. I'm like, this is one cooperative ass fly for this scene. You know what I mean? Because like your heart beats irregularly, and a bug will like flip out and fly off of you. So he's doing all this stuff, and the fly just stays there like on his face, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And then eventually like catches it in a gun and shit, and just like it's like, okay, that's weird. And then eventually we get a song. We get the intro of the dude with the harmonica, who we would later go on to refer to as harmonica. And I'm like, not this motherfucker playing his own theme music on a harmonica before he fucks people up. Because the train pulls up and moves on, it's just... And he just looks at him like...
What's up, bitches? What's up with those horses? Oh, what? We didn't. Looks like we didn't bring one. For nope. You brought too many.
Gets shot, but he does the like cold ass shit of just taking his shirt and making it into a cast and just.
Yeah, I clocked that this round too that I had never noticed. Was taking his overcoat and like kind of positioning it and then buttoning it really high up and off button axis so that it became a sling. And I was like, oh shit, genius.
I'm like, okay, that's your Western badass dude right there. But then it cuts to this whole other family, which there's just a guy like, damn it, Patrick. And I'm like, Okay, is he going against him? What's
Before
this?
you go forward,
Yeah.
I have to put you in 1968.
Okay.
You are your average TV viewer, movie viewer. You have literally only ever seen Henry Fonda play a good guy. Ever. Not only a good guy, but like a saint of men. Later, he has a compromising scene with the female lead of this film. That is the first time he had done even anything slightly close to that. His wife demanded that she be on set that day. So yes, going into this next scene, you have to think about the audience viewing this and seeing 40 to 50 years. I don't know how old Henry Fonda was at this point. He doesn't look like a young man by any means. An entire lifetime of a career of playing the good guy. Go ahead.
Yeah, so you got this guy and his kids talking about their mom coming, and kids like, my mom died a long time ago. Well, pick her up from the train anyway, Patrick. And I'm just trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And then suddenly the kids both get shot. And I'm like, oh, okay. He's gonna get mad because his kids got. Oh, wait, he gets shot too. Oh, that kid lives. He's gonna want vengeance. Oh, is he the character from earlier? Is this a flashback? I'm thinking the kid coming out the house is gonna grow up to be Harmonica or some shit. Because I'm trying to figure out why we had such a lead up to everybody dying. I'm like, what's the connection here? And the guy walked up there like, Frank, you think so and so? If you hadn't said my name, what? Murders the kid too. And with that being like the first time you've ever seen him do anything like in an evil light, that's gotta be crazy.
Yeah. The story goes that he showed up to day one with Sergio Leone with brown eye contacts and a fake mustache, because that's like what he had done to, like, you know, get into the mindset of a character of the this bad guy character. And Sergio was like, no, take out the contacts. I want your bright blue eyes, and take off the mustache. I want these people to see Henry Fonda shoot this child. Like, that is going to be the impactful moment here. So yeah, that scene's huge. And man, like at this point we can start talking about, like, I don't know, for me personally, I don't want to force my opinion on the group. But just, it's so fucking pretty. Like, I don't know, like it's so old but yet so beautiful and sharp. Like this, like
I will give you that.
faces of Henry Fonda and Charles Bronson. It's they're so expressive. Like, that's one. Is that could be, is that a shitty thing about our modern movie stars? Is like we don't see them age. Like, there's no expression in life on this level of what Henry Fonda is giving in his face in this. But yeah, the film, the shots, these wide landscapes and then dramatic close-ups, for me is kind of one of the things I live for.
It is shot. It is shot very well. I will give you that. I do agree. Like, some of this, like you said, the detail that you would get on the faces, and you would be like, wait, this is a 60-year-old movie damn near? Well, damn. You know, so I get it. But yeah, So we get the movie going, and I was like, they cut to a lady, and like, oh, she's gonna team up with main character man. That makes sense. She goes to a bar, and she's like, so we get Cheyenne's introduction. This dude. I was just trying to figure out what's going on, and turns around, and it is just.
Yeah, like there's, I mean, so yeah, this film is slow. This film is slow. And there is some stuff that could not be needed, would never be shot in today when you think about today's viewers' attention span. But yeah, and that scene is kind of the highlight of that thought process for me.
Yeah.
Because I don't know directly what it's achieving for how long it takes to get there.
Correct. You could have had the scene and cut time out of it. That's how I feel about, not to like give away anything for later, you know what I mean. But that is one of the things I can say about the movie, because to touch on that is there are some things where I'm like, you could have shortened that and it's still been whatever. But no, this scene goes on a little bit too long, but they have the little interaction with the gun and the thing. You play, but can you shoot? You shoot, but can you play? And just all that shit. And talking shit as he's leaving, playing the harmonica. Haha. I was like, well, I like Cheyenne for now. I think it was when he came and he asked for the coffee. And because Cheyenne is shown really early on to be keen. You can't get one over on Cheyenne for a lot of things. Yeah. And I like that about him. And he also seemed like, hey, I know they're saying my boys killed your kids. That ain't me. That ain't how I do things. Same thing with like when the people showed up at the train station and he's like, I saw 3 of those cloaks and 3 bullets in them. Well, they can't be Cheyenne's coats. Cause Cheyenne's motherfucker.
That's kind of, yeah. That's the perfect example right there. I saw 3 coats.
Okay.
Saw 3 men in those coats.
Yeah, what you see about them? Saw 3
men
bullets.
had bullets in them. Like, goddamn, man. Let's go.
3 motherfuckers dressed like y'all attacked me. What you know about it? Yeah, there's a lot of but yeah, you're right. The movie starts off slow. I don't need to go over like fucking every little thing, but I did like I like both of those early things with the moments, like the introduction for harmonica, I like all 3 character intros for harmonica, Cheyenne, and Frank,
yeah,
because you get a good idea of what these characters are like. Well, harmonica is still kind of, the whole idea is you don't really know a lot about him, so but again, you get that idea. Here's this dude that literally shows up. Like, I wasn't surprised when I looked at the credits and they just said his name was Harmonica, and I missed it because I'm like, yeah, that's about all you really know. Even throughout the movie, I'm like asking, so who are you? Because Frank keeps asking throughout the movie, just to like jump around. Frank keeps asking the dude, like, who the fuck are you? Joe Gibson.
That's a dead man.
Frank Davis. What the?
That's another dead man.
What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, you killed him, didn't you? Yeah. What the hell do they have to do with you? Like that, the craziest thing is the only connection these people seem to have that he lists is that they're killed by Frank. Like I'm thinking it's like, Frank, eventually you gotta put 5 and 6 together to be like, who do all of these people know other than me? It's gotta be that one dude. But that wasn't the case because I don't think they had anything else to other than he killed him. Like, you just listed people I've killed. What does that got to do with anything?
I mean, it must happen so much that he left Harmonica alive in his like early 20s or whatever, and doesn't even consider for a second, oh yeah, maybe it's that dude that I tortured and had his brother hang, basically because of his like, you know, when I made him when I made his brother stand on that kid's shoulders and then he hung and then I let that dude live. Hey, wasn't that dude that hung, didn't he have a harmonica in his mouth?
Yeah,
did I put that in there? Like, the fact that he doesn't consider all of those things must mean that he does that shit a lot.
Yeah, when you mentioned the harmonica scene, it just reminds me that harmonica flashback was both sad and funny at the same time. When the dude on the bottom dies, the one that had the harmonica shoved in his mouth, he falls and they play like some harmonica notes like as he goes down. It's like as he goes down. It was sad because damn, the other dudes hang in, and that's the intent of the scene, is to be sad, but the timing of everything with the harmonica just as he passes out, I was just like, you didn't have to it was like an elongated enough note to where it was as if he was playing that as he went down. I'm like, oh, that no, just let the music play and not have it sound like he's playing that with his dying breath. Like,
I think his brother kicks him off in that scene. I think his brother, like the moment that we're showed of, I think it's his brother, up there on the noose. I think he is doing the calculations, and he's like, we're fucked, and my brother is going to torture himself about this situation. And then we immediately pan down to the dude's feet, and it looks like he kind of shoves
the other guy.
He shoves harmonica in the back, and that sends him to the ground. And obviously,
yeah,
the guy drops. But yeah, that's a pretty brutal origin story, despite the harmonica noise.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It is intended to be sad, and I do completely recognize that and felt it. It's just sometimes if something's comedically timed, I can at least laugh at that too. But yeah, pretty much just because it is a 2.5 hour long movie.
It takes a while to get there. Can I do a quick wrap? So like,
that's what I'm saying. Go ahead, because that's what I'm trying to do.
So the family that got slaughtered in the opening, Dad bought a huge chunk of property. Everybody called him crazy. What do you want that worthless piece of desert for? This man was a fucking genius, looking forward into the future, saying, I want a bunch of money for my family. I'm going to buy a giant chunk of land over in the way of the railroad. They're way over there, 2 states over, but eventually they're going to be over here, and they're going to want to come straight through my property, and I'm going to build an entire city. He apparently goes on a vacation in New Orleans, picks up this lady and marries her. We're not told till pretty deep in, but it's pretty clear that this lady is probably a worker of the evening, a sex artist of some kind, and married her, told her to come back. That's our lead female in the film, Claudia Cardinal. She shows up to all of them dead and says, "You know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do this thing. I'm gonna be the outlaw. I'm gonna be the country woman and
Yeah.
and fulfill this dream." Henry Fonda and the group that killed him, they are working for the railroad company to kind of just get this dude out of the way so they could do their own town. It's all about the money. Meanwhile, Harmonica and Cheyenne are just kind of like outlaw dudes mixed up in this scenario. And then this is Max. He's a dog. So we have about an hour and 45 minutes of people just showing up at Claudia's house and kind of saying, all right, well, what if I fucked you? And what if I took the property? And then some other guy shows up and is like, well, yeah, but what if I did it? What if we fucked? And then I had the property. And then somebody else shows up and is like, hey, but what if I did it? And then I did it. And then we did it. And then you also have this other guy who's the running the railroad talking to Henry Fonda. There's a lot of moving pieces here, and it's interesting. This movie's such a classic. It doesn't string together well for quite a long time.
Yeah.
Until you know why everybody's doing this. What's everybody's motivation? Some folks don't even really have much motivation. They're just kind of there. Cheyenne.
Yeah.
I love Jason Robards is Cheyenne, and he is doing an incredible job. Henry Fonda is great in this movie. Jason Robards may be my highlight of the film.
That's my favorite character in this film.
But yeah, I don't know why he's here.
I agree. He's there for the big moment where they buy the thing for themselves with the 5,000, because he turns him in, and you just know he's gonna escape again. And sure enough, he does.
Just immediately walk out.
Yeah. They don't even show his escapes. They just go, he's known for escaping. So when you see him escape again, like, here you go. He did it again. They're like, we're taking you to Yuma. And I remember when he's mentioned Yuma, I was like, 310 to Yuma, huh? Anyway, so Yuma is a place in real life in the U.S. is my guess.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I don't know if it still is.
Oh, but it was.
But it was.
Okay. Because that's twice now. Because when you said 310 to Yuma was a Western, I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a pretty good film starring Gladiator.
Ah, cool. But they do all this shit in the movie. There's funny moments where Harmonica's captured on the train. Fucking Cheyenne's doing shit with the window. Maybe he's comic relief because he was doing the shit, knocking on the window, shooting dudes. The fucking shoe. Like, I expected the shoe to not actually be his leg. I did not expect it to be a gun. So I was like, okay, Cheyenne, you can stay. I wasn't sure what was going on with Morton. That's the railroad guy, because eventually he's found dead on the side of the tracks or dying. And
yeah, that's, I guess we just don't need that much of him. Like in any other, I guess, yeah, in any other scene, in any other film, either he's much more prominent because he is the actual bad guy and the Henry Fonda role is more of just a field general, or Henry Fonda is the bad guy of the film, and we have one scene of him receiving, we have that first scene that happens of him receiving the orders to take care of this.
Yeah.
And then that's it.
And we maybe have another scene later where it's like Bane in the Batman movie where he's working with the mafia, and then all of a sudden there's the later scene where he just kind of puts his hand on the shoulder like, "Do you feel in control?" Oh shit, we fucked up, and now he's the main guy in charge, and that's all you really need of him. So I agree with you in that. It's like, yeah, we did not need the poker scene. I don't get the point of the poker scene. If you're going to mention, speaking of, we don't need to focus on Morton that much. It's just like, I can barely move, but I want to deal poker right now.
Well, because that leads us to another scene that we don't really need.
Yeah.
Which is the scene where Henry Fonda's character gets jumped by those men. So the poker scene is the railroad guy deciding that Henry Fonda is already betraying him, if not going to betray him. And so he pays off these two dudes to go kill Henry Fonda.
Oh, those are the guys that show up in town.
Right. So we don't know that because it's not clearly explained to it. Because in town, it's all of a sudden there's just this shootout going and people like, trying to kill Henry Fonda that aren't Harmonica
helping him and all this shit. I was like,
and then we wait till the end of the scene where what the fuck is Claudia, where Jill. Claudia Jill is the character's name. Yeah, Jill has to be like, why did you just do that? It looked like his own men were trying to kill him and you saved him. And
I didn't save his life. I didn't let them kill him. It's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
It's not the same thing.
Yeah, so that's a whole other scene that we don't need, because at the end of it, Harmonica's still alive, Henry Fonda's still alive, Claudia's still alive, and our opinions of any of the three of them haven't really changed.
I'm just more confused. And then he goes back to the train and everyone's shot already. Unless I missed something. That's what I'm tripping off of. He goes back to Morton and everyone's shot or like crashed on the side, and Morton's like, and I'm like, well, who did this? Who attacked the train while he was gone? Because it looked like he was coming back to confront him about this, and everyone had already been attacked. So I'm like, what is going on in this scene? But you had the fucking standout moment for a negative thing, the Frank and Jill thing that we mentioned.
That's just. That's the big
hard
reveal.
To watch.
That's the big reveal that she's a sex worker, for the film. You're like, why is this happen? Because this film likes to show, not tell, to an extreme level. So it just jumps you in right into the middle of this scene that has been going on off camera for probably a very long time. All of a sudden, it's just we're just at Jill's house, and Frank is on top of her, and they are very close to having sex. And you're like, what the fuck is going on? Oh my god, she's kissing him. What is happening? And then Frank reveals, like I always knew, reveals that she was a sex worker.
But it was just a hard scene to watch, just with all the stuff going on there.
Yeah, it's an awkward scene. It's an awkward love scene, I think. And it's a unfortunate reminder of just like how the shitty life of so many women have led over the course of time.
Yeah.
And yeah, like just all,
like the shitty things they had to deal with.
Yeah. No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. God. So yeah, that would definitely be a low light.
Yeah. But yeah, eventually we get the final showdown. They had a little standoff when we get that flashback. That was pretty cool. And Harmonica wins because of course he does. And then he later finds Cheyenne dying. Someone just shot him, and he's like, well, hopefully if someone gets you, hope they know how to actually shoot to kill, so you don't just sit in the middle of the desert. dying.
Yeah. Oh, random. I don't know.
Which again goes back to your whole. So why was he? Why was he here? But yeah, I don't know. Are we missing anything from the movie?
No, we hit a lot of the stuff. I've got some quotes. I'd like to highlight.
All right.
Wobbles, how can you trust a man that wears both a belt and suspenders? Man can't even trust his own pants. I loved that line.
That was a good line.
Absolutely love that line. You know, Jill, you remind me of my mother. She was the biggest whore in Almeida and the finest woman that ever lived. Whoever my father was for an hour or for a month, he must have been a happy man.
So fucked up to say to somebody. That's
like
what
Cheyenne is a great character, man. He is great. Listen, harmonica, a town built around a railroad. You can make a fortune, huh? Hundreds of thousands of dollars. Hey, more than that. Thousands of thousands. They call those millions. Millions.
Thousands of thousands. Yeah, I think that's what I typed. Okay, Cheyenne is funny. Thousands to call those millions. And yet later on, when he's like $5,000, Judas sold himself for, Judas did what he did.
Judas was content for $4,970 less.
They didn't have dollars then. But like, he makes you think he's bad at math with the thousands of thousands. I've never heard of millions, and then he's just like 4,970 less was $30. But no, I think that's the real reason we have him is comic relief. But yeah, we do focus a lot on the character. And Wobbles was a thing where it's just like, I sure wasn't followed. Literally looks out the window, sees the shadow of dude on top of the train.
You son of a bitch.
I'm like, and there goes Wobbles. Okay. Oh, dog. Yeah.
So you want to give me final thoughts?
Yeah, final thoughts. So it's an okay movie. I understand that it's a classic and everything. It's long, but it's longer than it needs to be in some parts, as we mentioned. There are some okay moments that are cool. There are some moments that are very outdated. We mentioned philosophy-wise, different time. I understand it. That's why I'm saying outdated. It was less racist than I was expecting. And I like the characters, minus the way they treat Jill. I like Jill as well, because at least early on, she looked like she knew that because it was the time, not only that it was being filmed, but the time that it was taking place. The character Jill knew exactly what an outlaw like Cheyenne, if he was coming to the house, was probably planning on things. And she just was like, you know what, fuck it. I ain't gonna be scared of this shit. Ain't nothing a fucking hot bath of water can fucking cure. She's like, fuck it, you gonna do something, fucking do it. Get out of my fucking house. I'm not giving you any fucking whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that about her. I kind of wish she would have had some more strong moments, but I get why she didn't. Because in their minds, filming that at the time, that was the strong moments.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I'm probably not sure if I'll ever rewatch it. But I don't regret having seen it. Like, it's a good movie. I understand why it's a classic, especially when you talk about the historical significance of the moments and stuff like that, and how, despite it not being the most tropical thing, it did provide a blueprint for a lot of Western stuff It is a staple of the Western genre.
Yep.
So much respect for it. I can see it. I love a lot of the performances for the characters, but to be like, oh man, yeah, nah.
And that's okay.
Yeah.
You know, that's okay. I'm not too far separated from you, man. I mean, I'm okay with the slow pace. At times, most of the time in the film. There's just a few moments that I would love to speed up in my modern brain. But I am just like wrapped in awe with the filming and some of the acting. But yeah, I'm not that far away from you. I mean, is this one of the greatest films of all time? No. But it is thrown in that category sometimes. Because many people consider it one of the greatest Westerns of all time. And that's just kind of because it was one of the first Westerns of all time. And not one of the first Westerns, but one of the first great Westerns at that time. You know, it's
and it had the big names. It was a big pop culture piece at the time it was released, with Charles Bronson, Henry Fonda, Claudia Cardinale,
who is beautiful.
Yes.
So beautiful. And then you got all of these butt ugly old men around her. Yeah, it's incredible cast and a feast for the eyes, but extremely slow, and you can't blame anybody for that being a barrier for them.
Yeah. That opening, waiting for the train, went on a bit too long for me. And the creaking, the no music. I love the artsy take on the not having music there. No music for like 20 minutes in the movie, and a good 10 of it was
yeah.
So it was a bold choice. I respect the choice. Like you said, that might be a barrier especially for a lot of the younger or more modern minded individuals watching it, but worth a watch at least once, in my opinion. And so that, my good sir, is this movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We haven't talked about what are we doing next week.
That is a good question.
Have you realized why I messaged you the other day and asked you if you'd seen Air Bud? Because I knew that this was going to be happening. This little guy, congratulations to Max here, who sat on my lap this entire recording like a good little boy.
He was a good boy, yeah, Max. Yeah. Goddamn. We can watch.
Everyone look at the puppy while Omari decides. Look at the puppy. It's a damn puppy. Oh my god, it's so puppy.
That was the cutest thing ever. Him just go ahead. Oh no! Dreamcatcher! Fuck it. We're going to watch something. We watched Street Fighter, like the animated thing, a while ago, right?
Yeah.
We'll go back to fighting game anime movies.
Such a specific genre. We're gonna go back to fighting game anime movies.
I'm
That's
retreating
right,
to
folks.
my safe place. Fighting
Movies
games and anime.
based on fighting games.
Anime movies based on fighting games. We're gonna go. We did Capcom last time. We'll go SNK. We're gonna go. I believe it's a Fatal Fury movie. You'll see it with the title next week. Whatever. But yeah, Fatal Fury involves Terry Bogard. Awesome character. But
All right, folks.
You'll see when it happens. Anyway, you want to see
Mario
stuff,
put it down below.
You want to see the Street Fighter one? Go ahead and watch it.
Omar's going to put that right here.
Yeah, go ahead and watch it on this channel. You can also find me elsewhere on YouTube under Whatever We Want podcast. New episodes every
That's right
week.
here.
Yeah, new episodes every week, every Wednesday. I do it with a good friend of mine, good friend of the show, Super Jazz.
Super Jazz.
Thank you very much. As nature intended. We talk about just that, whatever we want. Also, Saturday. We got a show on this channel with this that I do with this good gentleman called You Don't Watch Sports. It's just for people who, just like the title says, just don't watch sports. We have a simple naming scheme around here. You want to know what the show's about? Look at the title. We have a simple naming scheme. You don't watch sports? Watch You Don't Watch Sports. We'll give you some topics, 3 quick topics to talk about. Just so you have some little, icebreakers. Water cooler talk.
Here at Feo Grande, we are covering all of the things that you don't watch.
You don't watch. Because people need to watch more stuff.
Real niche market we're trying out. The things that you already aren't paying attention to, come watch us talk about them.
Yeah,
Coming soon. You don't play video games.
Yes, I also have a Twitter and a Twitch. The Giotavi. That's Giotavi. Come on in.
Come on in. Stop on by.
Thank you. Bill, you got anything you want to say to the folks before we head out?
Nah, man. Nah.
Well, thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you next week.
Bye. Say bye,
Adios.
Max.